It's another beautiful Thursday morning. How you doing? Welcome to Jan 316 Relationship Clinic. Leo ni siku ya clinic ya relationship. My name is James Okumu. The doctors are already in the house. Bench nimeweka nje kama kawaida. Sanitized it. Hata leo nimewekea sticker so that you sit 1.5 meters away from each other. We are talking about communication today. Communication in marriage. Yeah. Hapo si ndio kuna kuwaga na shida. I'm telling you, communication. And sometimes we communicate that we don't think we are communicating. Sometimes we communicate things that we are not supposed to be. We say things we are not supposed to say, or we don't say things we are supposed to say. And communication becomes a big issue in our marriage. Somebody said that as blood is to the body, so is communication to any relationship. You remember when you first saw her? Hey, ukasikia dhidhi kwa heart, you know, and things went paragasha. And you began a process of communication. You know, taking her out for coffee and all these things you would do. Communicating. You communicated so well, she agreed to come and live with you. Kwanza mlipitia pale kanisani. Kama mjapitia kanisani, you need to think about that. Mkapitia pale kanisani, and now you're living together. Communication. How do we better communication in our relationships? That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm asking you the question, what are some of the challenges you're having where communication is concerned in your marriage today? Talk to me on 20316, WhatsApp on 0786 316 316. I've got two guests who will be joining us today via Zoom, helping us to understand the importance of communication in marriage and how to better our communication in our marriage relationship. It is Jam 316 Relationship Clinic. My name is James Okuma. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This morning, we are joined by Patience Waigoro, marriage counselor. Patience, how are you doing?
Good.
Good to have you on the show today. Karibu sana.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. We also have Apostle Isaac Mwangi. He's also a marriage counselor and a relationship coach. Apostle, how are you doing?
Wonderful. Praise the name of the living God.
Amen. Sijui nikuambie happy new year and nikuambie happy Valentine's. I haven't seen you this year.
Hey, Mekwana. I'm good.
Awesome. Karibuni sana. So it's all about communication. Don't assume, communicate. Let's begin by talking about the importance of communication in marriage. How important is communication? Or maybe first, before we even go there, let's define communication. We may be having different ideas of what communication is. Patience, what is communication?
Communication is basically just getting your message across. Yeah, so then the worst form of communication is no communication at all. So just making sure the other person gets to know what you're trying to say. Don't expect them to read your mind.
Ooh, okay. Apostle Isaac?
Hey, I go back to the Genesis to tell you the answer.
Hey, okay.
Communication is when God saw that man was not communicating to himself. He was not communicating to someone of his life, but he was just also maybe doing other things with animals, and also there was no relationship. He could not relate to any other person. Other man can relate to things, but you can only communicate to your kind. So communication is when now we are speaking together. Right now we are starting our communication. We are starting our talk.
Yeah.
It's that talk. It's sio maneno mengi, ni kuongea.
Ni kuongea. Fungua roho yako, ongea. So how important is communication to a marriage relationship? Patient?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go fast.
Okay. Basically, it is the only way that the other person will know what you need. And part of communication is also listening. So that is how you'll also get to know what the other person needs from you.
Yeah.
Without communication, then basically there is no connection. So it's a way in which you connect to the other person.
I usually find this very interesting, Apostle Isaac, that when we're in that process of dating or courting, communication is on high. It's on a high. You know, we call each other, we go out for coffee, we take our walks, we write SMSs and all these WhatsApp messages. We can talk into the wee hours of the morning. And then we finally get to that place. We go before God at the altar. Pastor anasema, do you take her? Do you take him? We say, I do, man of God, I do. And then we go for our honeymoon, and then we come back, we start living our marriage life together. Communication inaanza kudidimia, especially from the men. What happens?
Actually, that one starts with, I can just call it when there are some expectations when you are dating. And also, there is respect in those days. You respect each other, you value each other. There is something that you want always to know and to hear about your partner to be. So, but later, things start to change. When now you think this person does not even value your communication skills nowadays, no, not even skills, he doesn't even listen to. Because most of the relationship, you will hear people say that he is not listening. And the other one will say, she is that way. And then from that, those days you are not speaking against each other, you are speaking to each other, you are communicating. But later you start now to change. You start to shout to each other. Those are the way, that's where we start to go wrong.
Patience Apostle has mentioned listening. How important is listening? Because when we talk communication, we always think about expressing what we think, what we feel. But what about the listening part? Talk to us a bit about the listening part.
Listening is not hearing. Hearing is when you're waiting for the other person to finish what they're saying, then you make your point. But listening is actually, it needs to be active. You hear what the person is saying, where they're coming from. Try to put yourself in their shoes. It's about also giving them a chance to make their point before you get all defensive. So you have that open mind, you have the right emotions, you're not laughing when you should be, showing some sadness, or vice versa, or just being blank. I don't know if you've ever talked to someone who just has a blank stare. You keep thinking, this person doesn't seem to be getting what I'm saying.
They're not here.
So that listening, you listen with your eyes, with your expressions, with the in-between grunts, and not just saying, You're even telling them, tell me more. Letting them pour their heart out.
You've mentioned that. I'm thinking there are some basic things when it comes to communication. Maybe you can tell us those things, because I think they're very important. You've talked about attention, eye contact. Tell us those, because we live in an age today where there's a lot of distractions. We have a lot of gadgets in our homes. You're talking to each other, but my eyes are on the screen. You're talking to me, but I am on my phone. So what are the basics of good communication?
Okay. First one is you just stop what you're doing and give this person your attention. Don't have your mind in 1,000 places. Don't try to do. We ladies like to multitask. Just stop and listen, especially when they have something serious to tell you. It's different if I'm just telling you about some football game or something. So if they have something serious to tell you, just stop. And then give them time to finish what they're saying. Especially if you're an extrovert, you're quite talkative. Have that patience to wait for the person to finish what they're saying. And thirdly, once they have spoken, respond. Don't just leave it at that. If you need more, there is also that asking for more information. Or how did that make you feel? Or can you tell me more? Without trying to silver line. Silver line saying, at least you're not as bad as so and so. That you're just coming to them and telling them, thank you for sharing with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Apostle.
Maybe Pastor Isa can add some more.
Apostle, maybe you've gone through this. As men, we are so technical, and we are so what's the word I'm looking for? We look for results. We want results. And sometimes when our wives communicate to us, we respond because we want to solve the problem. And sometimes they're telling us, I don't want I don't want you to solve this problem. I just want you to hear me. I want you to feel me. And many of us cannot get into that space because we don't understand that space. You know, you're complaining about your job. Sibasi wacha kazi, hapana sitaki kuwacha kazi, but you still want to tell me about your boss and how you had a lot. Wachana na hiyo kazi, that's the solution. But they're thinking, no, you're not feeling me. How do we feel these things? Inakuwa shida saa zingine Apostle. Hebu tusaidie.
Wow. Actually, first of all, in communicating, the way ladies communicate and the way men do is different, totally different, kabisa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, men can answer you, but they have answered you inwardly. They have not spoken word.
What do you mean?
They have just answered you. He was there listening. You are speaking, listening, he's answering you, and he's not saying those words.
Uh-huh.
And then he's asking himself, because before a man answers a question, first of all, he asks himself so many other questions concerning the same question.
Mm-hmm.
Because men, we are not just there. We look for, not only, we look for solution. Maybe the question that you're being asked is not a solution. You're not asked to solve a problem on anything, but you're just asked a question, and then you can just assume, and then you say, okay, yes, go on. You see, you're not communicating. Men also, there is something that we do, and women are different. They feel, and we don't communicate our feelings. Men don't communicate feelings.
Yeah.
They don't communicate feelings. You can see man is stressed out, but he's not saying what is inside. You know, to a man to be silent is okay. But if a woman in the house is not talking, look for a doctor. Something is not something is not good. Because they communicate everything. But we men, we don't communicate. Actually, we hide. We hide all those things that are maybe hurting us before we go to the hurting part. But what happens to men, it is only God knows, because it happens inwardly and we don't know how to express it. Not all men know how to express even their feelings.
Yeah.
But they can only say 3 words, I love you. That now means that they have expressed their whole feelings.
Hata you I love you saa zingine inakuwaga shida kutoka.
Kutoka ni ngumu.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, Patience, listening to what Apostle is saying, you know, when a man is that way, how does it affect the woman?
Just a correction, by the way, not all men are like that. Even in the Bible, you see, someone like David could express his feelings. That's why we have so many psalms.
Where was David? David was on another level.
Who is spiritual?
David was just on his own level. Some of us are just here on the ground.
There are men who are like
yes.
There are men who are like that. But sorry. Back to your question.
Yeah.
You repeat?
Listening to what the apostle has said, you know, many men don't know how to express their feelings. You know, they don't want to talk a lot. When they're going through stress, they don't want to say it. And I think partly it's because of how society has cultured us, that a man is supposed to be strong. So when me as a husband, I'm that way, I'm not communicating all these things I'm feeling on the inside, how does it affect my wife?
Okay, for one, it can cause her to also maybe bottle it up and wait to share it with the girls, not share it with you, or share it with maybe another man. So that also brings a problem in the marriage. So she ends up having like some emotional intimacy with someone else. So that's also not good. So she needs to know she can come to you. And for you, it is also part of connecting with her. Mm-hmm. So when you're bottling it up inside, it sort of makes her feel like he doesn't trust me. Okay. Now, at that point is when I can correct women also and say, please don't also nag and insist on him telling you now. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he just wants to be quiet for a while. When he's ready to just let him know when you're ready to talk about it. I am here. I'm ready to listen. Don't also insist on your own timing. Yeah. So it can affect you both ways. So either you become the nagging wife, or you just shut down and also give Cold War yourself and think this is the way things should be.
Okay. There's something you've said there that I think is very important, and sometimes I think the wives don't understand that for us men, there are times we want to be left alone, and we are not thinking about anything. We are actually not thinking about anything. We are in our nothing box. We have a box in our minds that women don't have. It's called a nothing box. And it's a nice space to be in. Oh, it's nice. Yanni, you are just there. What are you thinking about? Nothing. And you ladies can't seem to understand that I can actually sit. I'm actually staring at the TV, but I'm not even watching it. I'm not even thinking of anything. I'm just in my nothing box. The bliss of the nothing box. Apostle, you'll explain that one to us, because sometimes I think our women don't understand it. We'll talk about that in a bit. If you have any questions for me, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786316316. We are talking about communication in marriage. What challenges are you experiencing when it comes to communication in your marriage? It is the Relationship Clinic. This morning we are hanging out with marriage counselor Patience Waiguru and marriage counselor and relationship coach Apostle Isaac Mwangi. We are talking about communication in marriage. How do you better your communication in marriage? I have a few questions that are coming in, but before we get to the questions, Apostle, that nothing box, Ebu, talk to us about that one. Explain to us. That nothing box that men love to get into, and sometimes the women don't understand.
You know, when you're explaining how the nothing box looks good, I was looking at Patience there, and then she was, wow, how is that feeling? You know, it's only man knows how it is, because there is something that we always want to put in that box, but some things we look at them, they can't fit in that box, so they are cast out, and maybe you'll be speaking things that we don't want them to get into that box. Sorry for that. But now, look at this. Men, that nothing box is when they are internally communicating to themselves. Mm-hmm. You know, there is nobody who doesn't talk to himself. Mm-hmm. There is a book written by, I don't remember the author, but it says, what do you say when you talk to yourself? Mm-hmm. There's some times that you're talking only to yourself and you're not talking to any other person. If anybody interacts or comes in just to communicate, to say something else, when you are talking to yourself, you don't know what to answer him. Will you answer what you are saying, or you will just say, what are you thinking? You'll just say nothing. And also something else here. We have something called he emotion. Mm-hmm. The emotions of a man are not outwardly expressed. Mm. They are only inwardly expressed. And when you see a man breaking up, it is not only because he's that good. It is because of the presence of God that has dealt with that heart, man. For that heart, for the heart of man to break down so that he will be able even to express and say what is in, is in the stage that you're saying of David. David also, he was not very good. He was not just speaking that, he was speaking because he was in a situation that he was pushed here and there, and the only place that he could go is just to his guitar and sing, speak those words. Those are the words that you have seen written in the Bible. Those are the things that he was expressing and saying alone. But he never expressed to Michelle. When he was with Michelle, he never spoke those things. When Michelle was just there asking, what this man doing there? And then when he came back, he never answered him what he was doing, even expressing himself. There are some things that men don't say, and actually they hurt women. They hurt women, and women, as you Patience said there, that they think that this man is not valuing me. Also, maybe we'll go to the question after that.
Okay.
There is a question that was asked.
Yeah, I have Edwin. Edwin says, I really enjoy the nothing box more than anything else. Edwin, don't get lost in the nothing box. Okay, there's a question here that says, my husband left home in 2019, and he has refused to talk or even resolve issues concerning our marriage. We have children, and the children wish to talk to him, but he refuses to pick calls. How do I go about this situation? Patience, What does this lady do?
Okay. One thing I would look for someone he trusts, someone he's still in contact with, to begin the conversation. And most likely there are other root issues going on. It's not about you or the children, or there could be something else that's going on that could have led to that situation, because it's not normal. So I would say the first thing she needs to do is to just get someone that she trusts and she knows that was maybe close to her husband, and then the person can reach out on her behalf. And more than anything, she should pray. She should pray, because only God can reach that heart.
Okay.
So in as much as, yes, she's doing this practical thing of reaching out through someone he knows, she should pray.
Apostle, there's
so
another...
The best.
Yeah, there's another question here. It's a comment question. It says, I stopped talking because I realized I talk to myself and my husband is always okay. Even the smallest things like saying, I love you, you look good, etc., it's hard. I'm feeling like we are slowly disconnecting and the friendship is fading away, and the things we used to do together, we no longer do them, but I don't know what to do. What would you tell this lady, Apostle?
That's a very good one. I'll just remind her and ask her when she was last in the supermarket. You know, in the supermarket is the place that you go and pick whatever you think you want, and you're not talking to anybody. And they're all there looking at you. They're seeing you going here, going there, going there. Now, their communication, it is in that supermarket level. They're just there, all of them, they're in the same room. Nobody's communicating to each other. That is a dangerous point. Anyone can start the communication. You can just now change maybe the way you approach, maybe the way she approaches or he approaches him, it is different. Something else also here. Remember that fire, when you are just on the fire there, when you take that stick in and the other side takes that stick in, then there will be fire. Eventually, if they start wakikosa kurudisha hizo kuni, there will be no fire.
Okay.
So let them communicate. Let them communicate. Actually, you can do something different. Not only even talking. You know, every communication, there is communication. There is non-verbal communication. There is also body language is there. You are doing things and someone is you are here and not, I don't care even if you are here. You see, those are the things that are hurting her. And should also, the way Patience said there, it's also good also to know someone that you can bring together, even listen to know what is happening to your partner and is not telling you, or she's not telling you, because this one goes both sides. You know, as I had said earlier, that a woman can just be in the house and not talk. But men not talking, it is normal. To them, they think they are just okay, everything is okay. And then if you ask, they can say, is there anything that you need in the house? They are provided. Do you have everything? Then go to kitchen, go and cook, go and order. And he's in a mood, maybe he's just thinking about projects, planning things, and he doesn't want to be disturbed. Maybe he's in that stage. And also it is good also, maybe he's in crisis also, he needs help. It's also good to seek help. Look for someone who can counsel the man, or maybe look for, just invite a couple that you love, and now start to come and start communication in the house. It's good.
Okay. You know, back to you, Patience.
Yes.
You seem like you want to add something.
I would like to add to that, on that question, because it seems to be, it's a lady who's asking.
Yes.
And I would say there is a lot of, over time, it has built up.
Yeah.
So I think going back to the root of the problem would really help. Where did it stop? And then was she talking at him, or like talking with him? Were they talking together? And one of the ways you can restart is look for something you can do together.
Okay.
just make that request that, like, let's just go for a walk maybe at Karura, and let's just do that, maybe once a week. Or come in the evening a bit early one of the days from work and take a walk together. It usually helps when you have that time that, you just get away from everything and try to see where the issue, came in. And then also express it. Don't just say, I'm tired of speaking to myself. Actually, come out and say, this is what is happening.
Okay.
I'm tired that you stopped listening to me. And for men, that's a dangerous point. For ladies, if they find someone else to share their emotions with, then you're losing them. So just request. Also, don't overtalk as ladies. Just get straight to the point. Yes. I mean, if you get that opportunity to talk to one another, just go straight to the point. Don't expect him to read your mind. Share what exactly, the specific feelings. Say you're feeling hurt that he's not been noticing. You've made your hair in a new way, Even solicit those comments. Dress up and say, how do I look? Don't just come and start standing there and waiting for him to comment. Ask him, how do I look? Yeah, and, just try and provoke him to say something. Yeah.
Now, shortly, we'll talk about levels of communication. I understand we have different levels of communication, and many of us tunakaaga tuko hiyo ya kwanza ama ya pili, and we need to understand the different levels. So we'll talk about that. But before we get to that, there's another question here. Maybe, Patience, you can tackle this one. It says, my husband and I are married less than a year, and communication is a nightmare. When I put forward my feelings, often when talking, he tells me I don't listen and keeps asking me, tell me what I said. Often I paraphrase, you see, you don't listen. So I sought advice from my mom, and she told me I need to learn to keep quiet. It's hard, but now I keep quiet to avoid arguments. There's so much tension, and I keep wondering, is this going to be like this forever? You notice it's women who are asking questions. The men are silent, like Adam in the garden. You are just looking at your wife eating the fruit. Alafu anakupatia na pia wewe unakula. And you are the one who's, okay, talk to us, Patience.
All right. So this lady has sought advice from her mother and has been told keep quiet. First of all, maybe that's not even her natural temperament.
Yes.
To be quiet. So yes, she needs to listen, and not to listen the one for finish your sentence, I start mine, but actively listen and let her husband share his feelings, his fears, his worries, his dreams, everything. Let him express himself. But at the same time, when she's talking to him, she should not be looking for that. You see, you never listen, or like as though he's waiting to jump in. Let her just speak her heart. If maybe he's not giving her the time of day, with the few minutes that they have, if they can, maybe like switch off technology, put it aside and say, okay, on Thursday evenings, we are just going to be talking for 1 hour, just listening to one another. No TV, no gadgets, no going online, just you and me. And just start from there.
Okay.
And
also,
maybe you can even aim to learn something new about each other.
I'm also thinking. I'm also thinking. Well, one of the things I've seen in a situation like this, where the husband now keeps saying, "You don't listen to me. You don't listen to me. What did I say?" I think it's also important for this lady to learn the mirroring technique, where when somebody communicates to you, you repeat to them, "This is what I'm hearing. Is this what you're saying?" Because I realize that sometimes one person says one thing and the other person understands this completely differently. So it's always good to mirror and ask this individual, ask your husband, ask your wife, this is what I hear you saying. Is this what you're saying? And if you've gotten it wrong, then they're able to say, no, that's not what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. That way, then you remove any room of misunderstanding. And also, just following up on the conversations that you have. Siya unasikia tu na haufanyi, ama yeye anasikia tu na hafanyi. That also becomes an issue. We have about 24 more minutes before we get to 9. If you have any questions for us today, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Communication in marriage. How do you build better communication? Shortly, we'll talk about the different levels of communication. This is very important. How do you better communication in your marriage? Don't make assumptions. Communicate. That's what we are looking at. I've got a number of questions coming in, but before we tackle the questions, back to patience. Patience, levels of communication. I think this is very important for every married couple to understand. Talk to us concerning that.
So there is the first one is essential. Like, did you buy the diapers? Did you lock the door?
Gender information.
The basics. Yes, the basics. Then you move on to the next one, where now you give a bit more information. You say, it looks like it's going to rain today. You sort of sound like a news anchor. It seems like maybe there's... This is what is going on in politics. You know, you're gone a little bit more, you're talking more words, but you're still not saying anything.
Yeah.
Then the next level, you actually now give an expression of what you think. Like maybe, I prefer when you wear the blue shirt rather than the red one.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think you look better in heels than in flat shoes, you know? So you're giving a bit of your opinion, but it's on general things that will make sure there is no conflict. Then you move on to the next one, where you give a bit of your feelings and a bit of, I don't know what to call that level. So you're going a bit deeper. You've moved beyond the news anchor, but at least now you're ready to say, I don't like the way so-and-so does this, or I don't like when you do this, you know? Then there's the fifth one, where you are completely open.
Wow.
You're not afraid to share anything with this person. You share your deepest feelings, your deepest fears, your dreams, and you're not afraid that this person is going to judge you. So you actually just lay it all on the table.
I like that, and I don't think a lot of couples experience.
So I'm not sure if I've covered all five.
Yeah. I'm saying that fifth level is a very good place to be at, and the sad thing is a lot of couples don't get to that level. You know, I was just thinking as you're saying that, when something good happens or when something bad happens, you know, who do you think of calling first? You know, is it your spouse, or is it the boys you hang out with, or is it your girlfriends? Because that then again begins to tell you what level of communication you are at. Apostle Isaac, is there anything you want to add on to what Patience has said in terms of the levels of communication?
Actually, she has touched on them, but maybe there are some people who will want to do research and learn more about it. You can just go and look for the first one is the verbal. The one is that she said, the way you just start to talk, very, very, very important. Just talk. Then there is that one which is physical. You communicate. You know, you can communicate even by touching with the hands.
Yeah.
That's a communication.
Yeah. And
there is a lady there that is lacking that because those days they were touching each other. There was communication. You know, hata unafaa kuangalia right nowadays when we are not greeting each other, there is communication or physical interaction is not there sometimes.
Yeah.
And you will feel that you just want to touch that person. There is communication. Also, there is another which is auditory, that they just want to hear your voice. Have you ever heard someone say, I just have not heard your voice for long? It's not even looking for just a talk. There is also, you can go now to the one that women love most. It's called the girl talk. The emotional communication.
Yeah.
You know, they express all the emotions, and you know, they can start to cry because someone else is feeling not good. Yeah? There is no good feelings in the person's heart, and you will see it's very, very, very good. And such people go to even there are some people who can be going to counselors for someone that will be listening to their inner emotive issues which are in the heart. And the last one is the one that she spoke also. When we are communicating now, we want to see how energetic you are, enthusiasm that you are expressing. You see, when you started those days when you are courting, is your communication that energetic right now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you, Jimo, tell me now. You can answer to them. Let them know. Let them hear.
When your husband works in a radio station, just know he has stories to tell you daily.
I love that.
Yes.
What about the husband that works at the Boda Boda already? That will say, Leo nilibeba mtu. You see, this is very, very good. Also, communication is very, very important. And people are having those challenges, but it's good now that we are speaking up.
Okay. There's another question here, Patience. Maybe you can take this one. There's something that I've never understood in my husband, and this is that when he tells me that he's gone to visit a Baba, and he comes back, I will always make an effort to acknowledge the way his hair has been shaved and congratulate him. Babe, you look good and your hair has been shaved well. However, when it comes to my side, even when he knows that I had gone to the salon, when I come back, he doesn't acknowledge until our son tells me, Mom, your hair looks good. But him, he is just there. Until I ask him, doesn't my hair look good? Then he goes like, oh yeah, babe, sorry, I had not noticed. For sure it looks good. If I wasn't looking good anyway, I would not have if it wasn't looking good anyway, I would have told you. What's the meaning of that? I don't understand. And if it wasn't looking good, I would have told you. And you've been quiet all along.
One thing is that there is no cause for alarm. He's a typical man.
He's a typical man.
You have to call his attention. Yes. You have to call his attention to this thing.
Yeah.
So you have to actually, with time, he will learn to make it a habit to notice.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to call his attention. You say, hello, I went to the salon. How does it look?
Yeah.
It's not fishing for a compliment. You're just acknowledging he's a man. His mind is in many places. For him, it's just like you said earlier, he's a fixer.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was an issue, then he would look for ways to fix it. Then at that point, he would notice. He would even give you the money to go to the salon. But he's just being a typical man. So he's just checked. He knows everything is in order. So let's move on. But
sometimes,
get him to compliment.
Patience.
Yeah.
Sometimes on that whole compliment issue, sometimes when the wife asks, and the man gives them an honest opinion, then the wife gets offended. Now, Lisa, how do I look in that dress? I prefer the other one. Yeah, lift up your hands, touch your toes, go around and round. That one, no. Wear the other one. But I like this one. So why were you asking me if you like that one? Because I'm giving you you want my honest opinion. I don't like it. It doesn't really look that good on you. But you get offended. How do we as men handle that situation? Or when she asks that trick question that all of us men fear, babe, do I look fat? Do you want the truth? Can you handle the truth? How do we get ourselves out of these situations?
Okay, I'm going to speak from the lady's perspective.
Yes.
That please don't take offense. Don't ask a question so that you propose into, getting someone to say something that will make you be offended. And if someone gives you their honest opinion, please don't take offense. From the men's side, please have a nice way of saying it. Yeah. So like the way you've just said it, I think you look better in the other one. Instead of saying, hey, that one, you look bad. That one, a better way of saying it is like the way you've put it. I think the other dress looks better on you rather than this one. Instead of, don't make it about them. Just focus on the abstract, the dress. That dress doesn't look as good on you as
the other one.
As this other one. Yes, so it's not about the person.
Yes.
And even for us ladies, please don't take offense when the man is honest.
Sasa
Also, maybe-
akiuliza hiyo weight, how do you answer that one? Babe, do you think I've gained weight? Is there a nice way of answering that one? I'm sure the men are listening to this question.
Let me answer you there.
Yes, please do, Apostle.
You know, first of all, to the brother that asked that question there first.
Yeah.
No, it was a lady asking, why do when I come there is not appreciative on saying how I look.
Yes.
Men don't answer to small issues.
Are you serious, Apostle?
Very.
No.
Let
why?
me tell you.
Why don't they answer to small issues?
They don't notice. They notice big things. If that lady will come bare head, he will notice.
Apostle, let me speak for the women.
Now,
Apostle, let me speak for the women here. You can't say men don't notice because when they see another lady, hey, pale kanisani, hey, Sister Wajiro, you look nice today. Now, how kuambia bibi yako, why are you noticing Sister Wajiro and you didn't notice your wife? So you can't say men don't notice, surely.
Let me tell you something. Surely, when that lady, if the lady just came with a mini skirt and is used to wear those clothes, which and so on, he will notice. But now that he's just normal the way you've been coming, I've seen you beautiful that way every day. You know, it's only when I'm interested with something, that's the time I will tell you, babe, and today, you know, this is men.
So all this time you're not interested in me. So all this other time you're not interested in me. Wait, patience, Ebuni's idea. I'm talking for the women here. Patience, say something. I'm trying to talk for the women here.
Men, please take time to notice.
Yes.
Please take time to notice. Even if it means you will look for something to compliment every day, something different, or just look for something. Please notice, take note. It's not that men don't notice. It's something that you have to learn.
Yeah.
Or unlearn. They unlearn the habit of not taking notice.
Because when we are quoting
when a nice car passes by,
yes.
Yeah.
That is so men.
We ladies don't notice. You're like, which one? Men have noticed. So please, unlearn the habit of not noticing things about your wife.
And sometimes, patience is not just the cars. Sometimes even when some ladies pass by, our neck becomes magnetic and we notice. But we are not noticing our wife. Anyway, there's something I want us... Apostle, there's something I want us to mention. For the men, I will not side with the men. We need to pull our socks up. I'm sure my wife is saying amen, and she's saying, well, kwanza. Babe, I'll start. Anyway, I want to ask a question before we finish, because there's the whole aspect of communication when there's a conflict. And I think that becomes a big issue for a lot of couples. They don't know how to deal with that. How do we communicate when there's a conflict so that we are able to resolve conflicts and not keep grudges? Apostle, do you want to go first? I'm giving you a minute and a half.
Yes. Actually, let me just say, what do you communicate? How will you communicate? The people have come to our place also, they want counseling and also help.
Yeah.
But now the issues that they bring forth are terrible. And then you listen to the lady, how she has just been there waiting for all this to happen. Has piled up things. And then you look at the man, and also the man just say, she has been doing this and this and this and this. Now, the first thing is when those things started to happen, what were they doing? They were made to relate to each other, and they enjoyed the luxury of open, honest, appropriate communication with each other. They did also these things as whole person, that is mentally, emotionally, volitionally, socially. They did this also sexually. Now, all those things they were expressing together, and now those things I've just mentioned, they are not there. That's now the time they start to fight. The communication is now to go back to the drawing board. Where did we go wrong? And then stop fighting, stop judging each other, start looking for solution, and also accept that you did a mistake, the other person did a mistake, the other person also wronged you. When you come to that place, now you can start to communicate, and then now come to solution. And how you will avoid not to go back there. Because if you go back there, you'll come back now again, the counselors, to help you. But you need to communicate daily in life.
Awesome. Patience, you want to add anything to that as we wrap up? Communication when there's conflict.
Yes. One thing we learned with my husband earlier in our marriage is when we are at that point when we are so angry at each other, we just hold hands and pray for each other. It's very hard to pray for someone you're still mad at and you're still very angry at.
Yeah.
So when you're praying for them before God, there's a way it starts to dissipate that anger, starts to bring you to that sober level. The other thing I would say is address the issue. It's not the person. Yeah. What are you fighting about? What is the conflict regarding? Yeah, it's not the other person. Maybe it's how they handled a particular situation. Yeah, but it's not that person.
Yeah.
So there is the thing itself that has brought the conflict. Yeah, maybe there are too many in-laws in the house, or is listening to the in-laws too much, or there's the money issues, you're not being honest with one another. So deal with the issue and not the person. Because at the end of the day, you need to end this as friends.
Yes.
You cannot afford to just, if you attack the person instead of attacking the issue, at the end of it, you'll have made an enemy of this person.
Yes.
Yes. So address the issue.
One of the things I was taught is that when you have a conflict, ensure that both of you win. If one of you wins, both of you have lost. So both of you have to come out as winners by the end of that. Well, my time is up, but before I go, Apostle, I had played a song that says, tell her that you love her. Ebu tumia wife salamu.
Oh, Jano, pahali yupo. Anaitwa, my wife is Janet, and I am blessed. We have 2 boys. God has graced us. I love you, Janet, wherever you are. I know she's listening to me. She's working right now. She's at her workplace with all fellow ladies and men around. I love you. I trust you. You will come back home. Amen. God bless you.
Huyo leo atatoka kazini mapema. I can guarantee you of that. Patience. Hata wewe tuma salamu. Tell him that you love him.
Amen.
All right. Steve, that's my husband's name. Last week we celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Yes.
So, yes, I just want to say I love you and I appreciate you. I thank you for the opportunities that you give me to do this, and even the opportunities we get to do this together with other couples. So thank you so much. And I really appreciate, one key thing I appreciate about him is that at the end of the day, when I come home and he asks me, how was your day? When I just say fine, he's not happy with that. He wants to hear every detail. Every detail of my day. So thank you for listening.
Ambia Steve at Fania Seminar. We need to become like him.
And he's very talkative, by the way, but he's also a very good listener.
Awesome. Asanteni sana. I'm out of time for today. Ladies, no, men who are listening in today because you did not send SMSs, send her an SMS and tell her that you love her. Ladies, kesho mniambie kama mliambiwa. Kama hamkuambiwa, we will have this conversation again. Send her an SMS and tell her that you love her.
This and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.